Hello, everyone, and welcome to the IPython Project Jupyter February 6th developers meeting. We are following an agenda on Dropbox paper, which is linked into the chat. And we will go ahead and get started with updates on Jupyter Lab. Anyone who put notes in there, go ahead and share.
I'll start. We've been hard charging on cleaning up bug fixes and getting the documentation together. Thanks to Ian and Chris Holcraft for the last minute push on getting screenshots and videos together. Some really nice looking documentation about to go out for that, or available now. We just haven't fully really announced it yet. So a blog post announcing that is in the pipeline, coming soon. But as far as we can tell, the actual code and the majority of the documentation is ready to roll for the first beta release. So, and thanks also to Jason and Jessica for all the push on the documentation side.
Are we good on the Firefox slowness? Thanks to you guys for pushing forward on that. Or is everything settled on it?
So yeah, Ian and I have made progress. Ian has submitted a couple fixed PRs that improve the situation, and we have plans to improve it even further in the next the beta release, and then a more invasive plan for the 1.0 release to hopefully look at once and for all. But yeah, the really bad behavior where appears to be only on Linux and Firefox, where it was taking an order of magnitude longer on his machine than on mine. He did address that one.
There is an outstanding Firefox bug on macOS, which is not Jupyter Lab related, that make Firefox use like a crazy amount of CPU and drain the battery really fast. So it's just not you if you see it.
Okay. And then so once we stabilize and get that first beta release out, we'll start pressing forward on the next beta release, which among other things will include the new Xterm .js, which is a canvas-based renderer, as well as some other improvements around copy and paste, especially on Windows. And then also some refactoring of how we handle document models and just general improvements to be released in the next beta release. So the APIs will continue to change during these beta cycles for extension authors. But we're also planning on how do we get to 1.0 sooner than later to stabilize those APIs for extension authors. So we'll be continuing to discuss that going ahead. And that's it.
All right. Anything else on Jupyter Lab before we move on to widgets?
Also, this is just more of an administrative thing. I believe that we've changed our meeting date now to Wednesdays. Is that true with the team?
Yes, Wednesday at 9 Pacific time instead of Friday at 9 Pacific time.
Yeah, so we're meeting all again tomorrow.
Okay, good. Good to know. And so let's move on to widgets now.
Huge shout out to Sylvain Corley and others that made Nicola Thierry and others that made the widgets workshop 2 weeks ago a fantastic success. A lot of people came, and we made a lot of progress on widgets, on Jupyter Lab, on building the community, and had a lot of fun together. So we're still finishing up some PRs. We had some PRs from it, and new people that were contributing from it, and we had a lot of good discussions, for example, about dashboarding and other topics, and it was a huge success. So that's not much more than that, but thanks again for everyone that made that possible, and thanks for everyone that came.
Yeah, that's awesome. How many people ended up gathering for that?
Good question. I don't know the numbers. I think in the range of 20 to 25, something like that. And then we had people that would visit that came and visited. So maybe upwards near 30.
Awesome. That's great. That's a great turnout, definitely, for that event.
It was fantastically successful. We had a lot of fun.
Awesome. Okay, so it looks like the next update will be on Jupyter Hub.
I was going to let Min do it, but I'll do it. We have a Jupyter Hub Binder joint video meeting this Thursday, and Min has linked to the details. Last week, pretty much just development stuff. 0 to Jupyter Hub 0.6 was released. There's some change notes and upgrade instructions. Early feedback is that the upgrades are going well, and we wanted to thank some of the community members have been fairly active in answering and troubleshooting people's installation problems, and we appreciate the help and assistance doing that. So keep up the great work. And that is all I have. Min, do you have anything else?
Yeah, just Gladys and I here helping out with the workshop on reproducible research with Binder and dashboards and stuff at the University in Oslo, also on Thursday.
Will she be on the call on Thursday, or is she going to be busy with the workshop?
It should be after the workshop. I'll talk to her if she's
free.
Usually done by that time of the day, so she's not available for evening.
We'd love to say hi and thank you.
Okay, great. So we are to the point in the agenda. We've gone through the sub-projects. Is there anything that's not on the agenda that anyone wants to share with the other people on the call or with the community? That's sounding like a no.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Damian released Rise, and we're looking forward to using it some more, and there's some cool new stuff in it as well.
Awesome. That sounds good. Add that to the others. How's that spelled? The Rise.
It's RISE, and there's a blog post on his website, and it's linked under released last week. And if I can find...
Oh, you put that in there. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sounds
Thanks,
good.
Cool stuff.
All right. So a reminder, we are currently in the stage of accepting calls for proposals for JupyterCon. Where that's linked into the agenda. Those are due March 6th. And we have our list of conferences and workshops going. Please continue adding to that, including the section at the very bottom, which has linked any open calls for proposal that may interest the Jupyter community. Does anyone want to talk about any of the events listed there? Anything to add?
Yes. There's going to be a blog post released soon, but there is a Jupyter pop-up in Boston, Massachusetts on March 21st, I think. And the CFP is due by end of this week. It's like Jupyter Days, but slightly different. I'm not going to spend more time on the one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are hosted by O'Reilly Media. And that will be the first one of what will likely be a series.
And Anna,
yes.
Breaking news, SciPy tutorial and talk deadline has been postponed a week. So
okay.
February 15th is the deadline for tutorial or talk submissions. And we'd love to hear from people, either tutorials. I think we have a thread going for a widgets tutorial. We have a thread going for a Jupyter Lab tutorial in combination with an IPython tutorial. So if you're interested in helping with the Jupyter Lab tutorial or a widgets tutorial or doing another Jupyter tutorial for another Jupyter piece of technology or software or whatever, make it known somehow. I think if you email Matthias or me or Steve about the Jupyter Lab or the IPyWidgets tutorial, we can hook you into the email thread that we have right now. But regardless, February 15th is the submission deadline for talks and tutorials for SciPy.
Okay, great. So now we have 2 last sections to cover before we sign off. If there's any action items from anyone on the call for others on the call or for the community, please add those into the action items section. And also if you have any releases that happened last week, planned for this week or anything coming in the next week or 2, please add or duplicate those into the releases section at the very bottom of the agenda. And I think that's all we have for today. One last chance for anyone to add anything before we sign off. Otherwise, we'll call the meeting. Alrighty, sounds good. Well, it's good to see everyone. Hope you have a good rest of your week.
See you, Anna.
Oh, Tim,